Hello everyone, and welcome to today's video. I want to preface this video with just saying I know this is not going to be my normal content that I normally produce, but it is something that's going to be more prevalent on my channel going into the future. I'm not going to always be able to make build videos. I'm not going to be able to make a build video 3 days a week, 12 months of the year. Like, it's just not going to happen. And so there's going to be other videos on my channel. And this is going to be part of it. I like talking about the PvE meta because it matters to me. And so this video is different, but it's important to me, and this video is a lot of work and was a long one. But let's go ahead and dive into this. Today we are discussing the absolute deplorable state of hunters inside of PvE endgame as we approach the Witch Queen, and after. I feel like this is nothing new for endgame PvE in Destiny, especially Destiny 2. And I feel like there has always been some argument as to why hunters are meta in PvE, and I would say that Omni has basically secured a well-skilled hunter spot on a 3-man fire team since it was released, shockingly, about a year ago. I totally think this exotic is part of the reason why hunters have stayed relevant in a very non-hunter sandbox. I do think hunters have build potential and has the ability to be a dominant presence in any activity, but why would anybody work twice as hard to make their class as good as others when the others require basically no work? I want to preface everything I am about to say with the fact that I was once a hunter main, a very good PvE hunter main. However, I no longer main it for a lot of the reasons I am about to state. I mained hunter since D1 until the 30th anniversary. I have 1,800 hours on hunter alone. I only have 3,000 hours on Steam, and I have 1,800 of those on hunter. So over half my gameplay time is on hunter. I understand this class very well. I really do. First, due to how debuffs work in this game, a tether serves almost no purpose, because a div running well Warlock now does everything that tether does while making it even easier for your fire teams to stay alive, and making it incredibly easy to hit said enemy. Also, if they run Lunas, they now grant you max reload speed on top of all of this. Second, the next thing would be, well, hunters have Celestial. Well, if we are being optimal, Cuirass Titan does about double a Celestial Nighthawk in damage. Except in a very, very small cases, like 5 in the entire game, where we have a boss with an extremely high crit multiplier, and therefore the damage is outdone by Celestial outdoes Cuirass because of crit multipliers. A few of these bosses are Hasselhood and Sadia. These two strike bosses can actually be one-shot by Celestial if you crit them, which is kind of cool and really fun to do, but it's 2 bosses. 2 other bosses to think of, Kali and Shirochi both follow this rule as well, because of they're under the same category as Sadia. They all have very high crit multipliers. Which is what makes Celestial so good against them. This, however, makes Celestial non-factor because you can just run a Cuirass Titan, let them charge in there. They will do double damage and then come out of all of that with an overshield, so they get away with no risk and a huge reward for being on that class. Next, let's talk Arcstrider. It's obviously the third class we have. Well, if we're being completely honest, Arcstrider is a useless class in in-game PvE. Most melee-based supers, where you have to get that close to an endgame level enemies to kill them, aren't ideal because you're going to die in your super, which if you're then off killing ads and you die far away from your teammates now have to get out of position to get you, which in a GM level activity or a master raid activity doesn't really do anything for you. Especially when you consider supers that can do this same add clear potential from a lot farther away. Examples are Hammers, Bottom Street Dawnblade, Shamebinder, heck, even Revenant, a hunter's own class. Or even a Behemoth, do every goal this class sets out to do, but significantly better. Well, since I mentioned Revenant, let's talk about it. Revenant is incredibly strong. However, the problem is that you often end up as the Aeons player in a 3-man activity. And because of that, you can't actually craft yourself into being more useful with an exotic that can make your class strong. One of the most overlooked ways to play Revenant is 6 Coyote using Slow Dodge. It's incredibly strong. If you learn how to use 6 Coyote plus Slow Dodge with getting on the melee dodge, on Gambler's Dodge, you can control ads incredibly well by yourself. But you have to be extremely good at the game to make this work. You have to know all of your cooldowns and build craft at an extremely high level to do so. Stats matter so much on this build. You have to run Protective Light. You need 100 mobility. You need 100 recovery. You probably need to have 100 discipline. That way you can have the dust field up as much as possible to help you control those ads. But it takes perfect build crafting out of you versus a Shadebinder, which can literally run turrets. A double can throw on Bleak Watcher, couple grenade kickstarts, and an Eye of Another World exotic helmet, and literally dominate any room in the game with its ad control potential. I mean, heck, Behemoth now is so strong that I think it competes with Shadebinder for best stasis. Okay, Teal, Hunters sucked, we get that, but we are entering a new year and a new meta. Surely Hunters are getting better, right? I mean, heck, we're getting Void 3.0. That's got to do something for Hunters, right? Wrong. Like, severely wrong. The Hunter class is going down. Like, severely down. In fact, I actually think Hunters are going to get significantly worse than they already are. And there are two factors to play here. I think Hunters went down a good chunk in the 30th anniversary update because of the cooldown changes. But I think they're about to go down another chunk, and I think a huge part of that is, in fact, Void 3.0. Let's first start with our new aspects. We have two truly new ones, and one that is returning. That's a returning perk on the old trees. First up, the one that we all know is Vanishing Step. New animation, looks cool and all, but it's still Vanishing Step. Go invis when you press dodge button. Alright, now the two new ones. First, the Trapper's Ambush, which could be really awesome for PvP, but seeing as it gives you Void Shower Dive, which we all know is an incredibly useful movement tool, but it won't be that good inside of PvE. And here's why. Players can activate Quickfall to spend their melee charge and dive to the ground, creating a smoke cloud upon impact. Enemies caught in that smoke cloud are weakened, which, by the way, weakening from a neutral game ability is a 15% debuff, not a 30%, which is good for the health of Tether as a super. But, enemies caught in that smoke cloud are weakened, allies become invisible. Note, this does include yourself. In addition, snare bombs, upon attaching to surfaces or enemies, cause nearby allies to become invisible. So, when you dive to the ground, it'll hit the ground, and so this sounds like you can throw the snare bomb at your teammates at least. Or at least, we'll see how this works. The second part here sounds like it could be good. In addition, smoke bombs, upon attaching to surfaces or enemies, cause allies to become invisible. The question is, does those allies include yourself? Because if it doesn't, then, well, okay, that's cool. This I see almost zero use for in endgame content, because why would you not just invis yourself normally? Here's the problem. And this is something that when I was writing the script yesterday, I didn't know until I watched the DCP today. Destiny Community Podcast, if you don't know what that is. Invis smoke is leaving. This is your only way to invis yourself. Outside of invis dodge. Or using the new executioner. Stylish executioner, which we'll get to. If this is the only way to invis your teammates, why? Why would you run this? Because if you're trying to play yourself most efficiently, right? If you're trying to be invis for yourself most efficiently, you'd want to go invis dodge plus stylus executioner. That would truly give you the most invis possible, right? That would keep you alive the most, right? And you'd probably want to go Graviton Forfeit to keep that invis up as much as possible and as long as possible. So why would you run this? There might be something I'm missing here. Maybe it turns a regular smoke bomb into an invis smoke bomb. Maybe that's what it does. Maybe that's what it's saying it does. But why not just give us invis smoke? And I think we need to have a discussion about that, because where's invis smoke? I mean, invis smoke was the reason hunters have been meta for the last year and a half. Like, stasis was good and all, and stasis is very strong. But Warlock stasis is stronger, and there's nothing to argue with that. I mean, Ice Flare Bolts was one of the dumbest things ever made in this game. And Bleak Watcher is crazy. So, explain to me, honestly, in the comment section, explain to me why, if you are disagreeing with me here, explain to me why you think Invis Hunter is going to get better, if you think it's going to get better. I see almost zero use for this, because you can't invis yourself normally, and this is the only way to invis yourself and allies with a smoke. And why not just invis yourself with a dodge if you really just want to invis yourself, right? This does not feel like it's going to be a meta pick or a worthwhile pick. However, I do think the new Stylus Executioner will be, but I don't think it'll be that insane for non-solo content. I think Stylus Executioner build has potential to be one of the craziest solo builds we've ever seen in the game. But we'll get there. Stylus Executioner states, defeating a void debuff target, weakened, suppressed, or volatile, grants invisibility and true sight. While invisible, and after a Stylus Execution, your next melee attack weakens that enemy. Which means you can chain this invis over and over again. You go invis after you throw something like a suppressor, right? That'll make them suppressed, right? Or you could run, or you could throw a smoke and that'll weaken them. Then you can go invis off that smoke throw, right? Well, then you're now invis. You can then go up behind an enemy, melee it, and then either shoot it with a primary, or you can quickly shoot it with a special weapon to one-shot it, right? And now you're invis again, right? And that loop sounds insane. Trust me, I see a gameplay loop here where I do see... Trust me, I see gameplay here, I do. I see how this is on top of some awesome builds using suppressor nades. Which, yeah, by the way, all classes can use all grenades now. Yeah, that's actually a cool fact that will be neat. You could remain basically permanently invis, but I really, and I mean really, don't see how this does anything for hunters inside team-based endgame content. It's not like invis is granting... It's not like this invis is granting you and your fire team invis, just you. Hunters don't really need a buff in solo play. They have already been part of the solo meta for a really long time. And this will make them even stronger there, but this weakens them elsewhere. I understand we don't know all of our fragments, but we know about 5 or 6 in total. And there's 5 or 6 pretty solid ones, all things considered, but we know for a fact this is all of our aspects, and those 3... those 3 now, yes, we can always get new aspects in the future. That is the coolest part of this system, is they think of a cool perk, they can just add it in and boom, and now we have it. None of this actually solves anything, and honestly just makes it so that Night Stalker is more about stalking and being invis and actually being part of a team and building with that team. Destiny is a fire team game, and having classes that don't build into that hurts that class, because the best endgame content in this game requires teammates. And if you can't be useful in those situations, then when are you useful? Bungie is either not telling us something, or we aren't understanding something. But update after update, DLC after DLC, Bungie does nothing but hurt the state of the hunter class inside of PvE. Hunters are fine in PvP, and will probably always be fine in PvP, unless you are a hunter god. You serve no purpose as a hunter in endgame PvE content. Like, you just don't. Warlocks are simply just do it better, and that just simply isn't okay. I will probably never go back to maining a hunter as I once did. I will probably continue to play Warlock as my main. What makes me feel worse about all of this is that Solar and Arc Hunter were in worse states than Void was at the start of the 3.0 phase. And I feel like they're going to somehow get worse because of this trend. And those just can't be getting worse. They are too important to the Hunter class. They are both very cool and very intricate. We need ability buffs for Hunters. We need to understand the purposes of Hunters inside of in-game PvE. And I would like for the devs at Bungie to explain this. We don't understand the purpose of Hunters in PvE endgame. It doesn't make any sense. What is their role? What do you want them to do? As developers, they aren't sharing where they want Hunters to be. They don't. And it doesn't make any sense to me because I don't see a role for them right now. Warlocks and Titans are simply better classes. By a mile. They are simply better classes. And that is the truth. I hope everyone has enjoyed my rant about the Hunter class. I really hope I'm wrong and the Void 3.0 surprises me and Hunters are useful in in-game PvE. But the way it's looking, especially after the Destiny Community podcast yesterday where they confirmed certain things just weren't going to be in the game. The second half of combat provisions not in the game, where making yourself allies grants you grenade energy. Invis Smoke is gone from the game. And they have confirmed that Heart of the Pack is also gone, because they didn't think Heart of the Pack was either they thought Heart of the Pack was too powerful, or they didn't think Heart of the Pack really fit within the Hunter class, which I don't understand because Heart of the Pack has been in the game since D1. Since D1, Heart of the Pack has been in the game. So, what were your choices here? Thanks for watching and supporting this video. I know it's not something I have done a lot of, but I do plan to talk about the PvE meta a lot because it's something that's important to me, and I would like to see it become better. See you all on Monday for a new video. The last 4 videos before Witch Queen are going to be absolute bangers. I have the top 10 power weapons. I know I haven't covered that yet. It's coming. I have the a step-by-step leveling guide, and I have the top 10 to 15 changes coming in Witch Queen, and then one other video for next Wednesday. So please subscribe if you haven't already. Please like this video if you did enjoy. There will be plenty more content just like this in the future. If you did enjoy, I appreciate all of each one of you. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.